Welcome to 2D Trash Cast.
Alrighty. Hello and welcome back to another episode of 2D Trash Cast, where we take pride in trashing your favorite best girl archetypes. My gamer tag is EXO Sundere 4Life69, and with me I have Truck Coon's two latest victims, Nick and Travis. What's up, guys?
I'm everybody's favorite little sister now, actually.
God, that's
Yeah,
so
get it right.
Jesus Christ. Seeing now that I'm seeing it in our on the stream itself, it's slightly terrifying.
Yeah, but it's great though.
So what the fuck happened to you two? You just step out into the street and get hit?
Yeah, I actually got hit by the train I normally take on Saturday. So
I just woke up in a weird room looking like this.
Yeah, well, you should fucking do something about that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
what? I just don't. It's just so crazy, right? Because you're rocking essentially two different types, right? One is
Mine's a phone app.
Yeah, right. Travis, you're using the phone, and then Nick, you're using a more quote traditional.
Yeah.
What is it? Software for it?
Yep, VC Phase and VRoid Studio to create the avatar itself. So.
Just Travis is trying to stealth remove a lot of shit to make it work.
Don't mind me. I'm just here.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun.
It's so strange, like seeing it, right? Dang, man, are we contributing to the oversaturation of the VTuber market?
Yes.
Yeah, we are, because I'm allowed.
It's like, I just want to be 2D one time, guys. That's the point of this whole fucking podcast. No longer are we 3D trash cast.
We are 2D. We are here.
So
we are officially 2D. No, not forever, but yeah, it's cool to just give it a swing. Yeah, fuck around, give it a swing.
Mm-hmm. So the fact that you guys are using like two different setups, how's that process kind of been like for you two? Yeah, it's a trap. It is a trap.
It's a trap.
That is yes. Look, come on, man, look at him.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's favorite little sister.
Everyone's favorite daughter.
Salute
if that was my little sister, I'd kick her down the steps. But that's just
if that was my sister.
Me.
You're going out the door, son.
That's fucked up.
Nah, it's okay. It's anime. She did the solo.
That makes me angry.
That makes me feel some type of way.
Yeah, so yeah, fucking Nick. Yeah. Well, see, Travis, can you actually, because you can't change your emotions, right? It's like pretty much.
I can open my mouth and do it.
Yeah,
I can do an emote.
He wants to make Oni-chan stand at attention. Yeah, well,
do your best.
For all the wrong reasons. Fucking Christ. Yeah, so the fact that because Travis is like using the phone, it's very interesting.
Yeah,
that has to be heating up your battery, like or destroying your battery.
I picked my phone up and it was burning.
Yeah,
is it gonna even last for the full time that we're gonna be streaming? I wonder.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. It should. That phone has pretty decent battery, but like it does warn you in the settings whenever you set it to like advanced, like on the phone app.
Yeah,
like this will overheat your phone.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they have to warn you so that you don't come at them for that. Like you want my phone.
I can't feel it through my case, so we're good for now.
Yeah,
for now. But yeah, well, shit. What happens when you start feeling it through your case?
Do you have it propped up, or are you just?
Yeah, it's gonna burn a hole through my computer monitor.
Oh fuck, dude! If we don't stream if we're not on in the next 2 weeks, you know why?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Nick. So, well, actually, the both of you in this case. So now that you've kind of had a little bit of time messing around with it, like, how's it now? Looking at it from, I guess, the other side of the fence. I guess now that you've actually kind of worked on models that sort of represent you.
I got a sweet tooth, so I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, the reality app on the phone is a little more user friendly. but you have limited options. But this Vroid Studio stuff definitely, like I said yesterday when we were talking about it, definitely gave me a little bit more appreciation for all the VTuber artists out there that draw their own character models, and even the rigging staff guys. That's all, that's all such a pain.
Yeah, that like doing all of that, I imagine, is a lot of fucking work. Like it looks way. It's one of those easier said than done things, right?
Yeah.
Because I always feel like you already have to be decent at art as it is to probably conjure a VTuber model that is completely your own.
Right.
So even like doing, exactly. That's probably why you would pay somebody.
Yeah. Once you have like everything set up and you finally finish like with your character model, it's VC Face is relatively user friendly. So you just import your character to it and it kind of takes over from there. So
yeah.
Like I said, it's super user friendly, and it makes it easier. Like it's an easy transition to get into. So
yeah, and I know we were talking about this like a little bit before we even started recording, but essentially it's kind of like the way that like Nick's model itself is kind of just like able to be as dynamic as it is. It's kind of
creepy,
almost very scary,
dude. Yeah. Dude, it's well, I gotta shout out to Logitech for that, because like I wasn't expecting the tracking to be so well with my webcam that we normally use for this, but it works really well. The body trackings works good, the head tracking, all that. There's no like stiffness to it either. Well, there's a little bit of stiffness because my arms aren't moving, but
I was gonna say it's like you're just kind of half in rigor mortis.
This phone app's pretty impressive too. I'm sitting at least like 4 feet away from my phone, and it's picking up all of my head movements, but most of my mouth.
Yeah, the tracking on that's pretty damn good.
All right, now we just got to put you both through the VTuber gauntlet of things so that Chad forces you to normally do. All right, Travis, you're gonna make the popping bubble sound.
Yeah.
Come on, do it.
I can't get
do
it
for
loud
everybody. You can do it. Okay. it was worth the attempt. But speaking of, Travis, shit, he went back to the real world.
I got boo food. What happened?
So it didn't even last 5 minutes.
Did your OBS crash?
No, it's nothing like that. We can keep talking. I got it.
All right, so we'll wait for Travis to get back, but for the meantime, we'll start out with this, right? So I've been doing like a tiny bit of research recently into well, let me preface this. So like the Olympics just like recently ended, right? Like didn't Japan take home they took home the gold, in baseball, or is it someone else?
Yeah. They took on. Yeah, they beat U.S. in the finals for the gold.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, right? So like I started thinking about this, right? Because I know in our group chat, I know you guys talk about the MPB a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I'm asking is, somebody who isn't totally into baseball, I guess is the both of you. So in comparison, would you say that you favor checking out the MPB currently over the MLB in their current states?
It really depends for me, because there are definitely things about the MLB that I prefer. Like, the superstars are superstars; they're like wild. You know what I mean? Like Ohtani, for instance. You know what I mean? It's like above and beyond.
There's no like Tatises or Acuna Juniors over in Japan. Really, you're not going to see somebody that's like 22 years old just fucking shitting on everybody.
I mean, you kind of will, like Soto right now for the Tigers, killing it. You know what I mean? He's crushing it. Young guy, got a future ahead of him, especially in the NPB. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the MLB eventually. But it's like the NPB is fun in a sense that like college sports are fun. You know what I mean? It's not every single player is fantastic. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's like a level of difference between each player and each team, for that matter, that kind of makes the challenge a little bit more fun to watch, especially when like you see like the Oryx Buffaloes, you know, not a huge powerhouse of a team, but when you see them like kind of take down a powerhouse of a team, it's like, oh shit, that's wild, you know, especially when there was 12 runs in that game.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's just a different pitching style. You know, it's more pitch to contact instead of, you know, pitch to walk and stuff like that, pitch for strikes. So it's a little bit more exciting on that side.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of a pitcher's league.
Oh, you think so? I mean, from how I understand it, right, and I think I almost feel like it from like the limited amount of like baseball, like manga or anime I've seen, it feels like they really do focus on like the pitcher aspect of things more than the hitter itself.
Yeah,
I would even call it a pitcher's league. It's more like a team aspect. It's like all about the team. Like it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Like you're not just trying to fucking go out there and crush hitting nukes all the time. That's why there's so many strikeouts in the MLB. You either hit a nuke or you strike out. I think this is the fewest base runners they've had in like the most people left on base ever in MLB history since they've been keeping track, because everybody's either swinging for the fences or striking out.
Yeah, well, I guess it goes back to like the superstar aspect of the MLB, right? It's like it's an MLB, it's a superstars league in the MLB. It's all about who's up the plate and everything like that. Whereas, yeah, like you said, in the NPB, it's more of a team effort to get the job done.
If you watched any of the Olympics baseball, they talked about how fundamental Japan was, like how it's all about the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Now that U.S. Japan game, that was a good ass game on both sides, not just Japan.
Could you imagine what it'd be like though if they actually had like the MLB players there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So who do they have? So
it was like college people and old people. Like the MPB players were all there, except for like Otani and Darvish. But like all of the U.S. people were college kids and like old dudes.
Yeah. It was a little strange as far as like pro athlete caliber players on the U.S. side, which was why it was surprising that they did so well in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's kind of to sort of tangent off it a bit, because it's kind of like correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I've touched up on this one, but I think it was like the same. It's kind of like the same how it was for like the NBA, right? Like for the NBA or just I think other U.S. Olympic teams, right? They couldn't put their professional players in for like quite some time.
It was basically that they decided that they're not going to allow the MLB to shut down for the Olympics, so anybody that wasn't on a 40-man starting roster was allowed to play.
Oh man, I kind of get that, but in a way, it's like I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. I feel like if you want to put it on for the Olympics, I don't know. You want to put maybe some of your best players. Not that I'm saying like the MLB doesn't have like a lot of probably really good players that just aren't starting.
Mm-hmm.
But it just feels like I don't know. It just feels weird when there's like some sort of a handicap to it. But then maybe some people will be like, oh well, if all the best players in the U.S. are playing. Depending on the sport, they just may overwhelm, certain teams. Because that's how, like I said, that's how it was like in the NBA. Like, up until like recently, because now there's like a lot of European players and whatnot. But
the skill level in the basketball department is like throughout the world has like drastically changed. Like the competition for Olympic basketball was wild this year.
Oh yeah, it was really good. I mean, it's almost strange because I feel like sometimes you will see like a lot of like sports critics, I guess, are just kind of like, oh well, the USA should be dominating and blah 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 and all this, but it's like there's a lot of European players now that play in the NBA, and a lot of them go to play for their representative countries during the Olympics, and therefore it's like it's not a straightforward domination like it was in like the 90s and anything up to that point, right? But yeah, going back to like baseball, that's why I kind of like brought it up. It was just interesting because, in the same way that like the NBA kind of is like a very huge influence for basketball all around the world, with Japan, taking home the gold. It's like how how much is like Japan like really fueled to really get into baseball now.
Yeah.
If they weren't already, because they have like the whole coach and stuff and like all that, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. And Koshin's massive in Japan. Like bigger, like almost, it's like probably almost as big as like the Nippon series for NPB. Like Koshin's massive.
I actually think it's bigger than Koshin.
It might, yeah, it might be.
The MPB. I think Koshin as a whole is bigger than MPB. Like the MPB as a whole.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. High school baseball was insane.
I think they shut down. Like businesses shut down for that shit.
Yeah, for Koshin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like recently, like last week, I was talking to a good friend of mine. Like his dad came back from Japan, like recently, and he was basically telling me pretty much. He was basically describing Koshin, and he goes like, yeah, the kind of the energy that surrounds Koshin, like the hyper Koshin, is like the same as like you know how like some colleges just get really ramped up for like when championship season's coming around or whatever. And like over there, it's like such a huge thing. So yeah, that goes hand in hand with what you're saying.
Yeah. Summer Koshin was just happening. Yeah. So
did it happen this year?
Yeah, it was delayed a little bit because of like the severe rain, but I don't know if they started it back up or not. Because I was talking to somebody on Hello Talk about it. They said it was delayed, but it was still going on.
It's still going on right now. It ends tomorrow.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that's kind of like what spurred that conversation, right? It was just kind of I was thinking about it because I know you guys talk about more or less just Japanese baseball a lot more frequently, and so it's like I was going to ask you to kind of just pitch the idea of like if you were going to sell me on the MPB as a sport that would be worth watching in the same way as MLB, like because I know you're talking about they're different, but they're both very entertaining in their own way. Yeah,
they definitely both have their own pluses. I just like like I said, I like the pitching aspect of NPB better, and I like the team aspect of it. It's not so superstar centric. It's the same reason why I like college football better than the NFL. There's a lot more different skill levels involved, and not just a bunch of superstars basically patting themselves on the back.
Yeah, well, you know, in a way, it's why it's like crazy, right? Like if you think about there's like almost like varying levels, right? So it's you have your high school players, right? You know, at least typically how we would normally say, right? You have your high school players that play to go into college playing to go in the NFL. And then in a way to ramp it up one step further, every 4 years you get the best batch of those players playing the Olympics. Typically,
yeah, right.
And it's kind of like, wow, like what would it what would it be like if you got like a country's best selection kind of playing under one banner? Just be it's kind of like it's almost like a unicorn team in a way.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, still, I guess let me ask this then. So would you say the pacing of like the Nippon games are any different than American games, like the MLB games, in any way? Like, how do I explain it? Like
they say, I wonder if do they seem slower to you, Travis?
The MLB slower, I feel.
You think?
I do. I feel like there's a lot more.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
There's a lot more going on in MPB games. So, like, there's no like lulls. You're not just sitting there like, geez, hit the fucking ball or something. Because I feel like everybody's making contact in Japan. Like,
yeah. So I guess that's where it comes into it being faster paced in Japan because there's a lot more outs and quicker outs, whereas opposed to like in the MLB. They're like pitching for strikeouts and they're pitching for walks and you might see a guy go 5 innings and he pitched 80 times already. And that's like kind of a low number for a lot of these games in MLB. And then you see in the NPB where a guy might go 5 innings and pitched 50 times. So,
yeah,
it's also crazy because like they'll switch you out. Like you could just give up one runner in like the 5th inning, and they'll be like, okay, we're gonna switch you out. Then the next dude will just get completely fucking annihilated.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
switch. There's so many times where they just switch pitchers in the MPB, and then the next thing you know, like you're winning. Like you look at the score, and you're like, "Oh, sweet, they're winning 6-0." I don't gotta look, and you'll come back and they lost 11-7.
Yeah.
It sounds like MPB games have like a potential to be really high scoring on average.
Oh yeah, for sure. On average, yeah. It wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised if like in a week, like not even a week, just a day, if you look at like the scores, like the box scores for the whole day, if like every one of the winning teams for that day scored more than 10 runs.
Really? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, there's some weeks like that for sure.
So one of the games just ended today as a tie, is an 8-8, and another game ended 7-6. Yeah,
That's what I'm. Yeah,
they're all
right.
real high. They're either really low or really high, like 10-2, 11-2.
That's like because I was thinking. I feel like remember this is somebody who doesn't really keep up with the MLB, so I could just be talking out my ass. So I feel like MLB games on average are like typically they tend to be relatively low scoring in comparison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just it's kind of interesting looking at, and I guess it serves to like as you guys say, it's a different style or a different focus depending on how that goes. So
yeah, no, I'm only like two years into the NPB as far as watching it like regularly. So I'm sure I'm inaccurate on a lot of things that I talk about, but yeah, I mean that's just how it seems to me so far.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind that we here at 2D Trashcast are not fucking sports professionals. We're just
not even sports analysts.
We're not even sports anything. We're just shooting shit about it. just to make sure, because you never know. Somebody just may be like, "Well, that's not true."
Yeah.
They tip up their glasses. So
yeah, well, I'm a piece of shit, so
yeah. You know what? If you have a problem with what I said, fuck you.
Yeah. What he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at him. Look at that 2D face.
Fuck you.
Confidence. Confidence in his ability to bullshit. All right. Well. Behind
the mask, I am nobody.
I am just an empty shell of a human. Yeah. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to lead off with that, just because it was just something that more or less
conversation topic.
It struck my fancy. Yeah. And so.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, dude. Let me tell you. All right, I'm going to segue into that next topic on that note. All right, well, back to the idea of you now being isekai, yeah? And so, speaking of VTubers, Hololive's, Hollow Council has pretty much like debuted, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys had even seen any clips of them or whatever outside of maybe, what you've seen in passing.
I've been seeing some clips, yeah, but not. I haven't like actually sat down and watched any of them yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Travis, have you seen any of them yet by chance, or just also the same? Yeah,
I've seen clips if that counts.
No.
Not even close, bro.
What are you doing, step bro?
Well, there's literally now a question you can ask that actually has some meaning now.
Absolutely terrible.
God. Someone make dojins of Travis, please. So
yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a bunch. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch already, which is the terrifying part. But so like now we have like more or less like an EN2 kind of just popping up, right? And with an ID, they pretty much I think they announced an ID Gen 3 coming. Here's the thing, right? We've talked about this before, in a sense. So this could be like that beginning of that tipping point of like oversaturation, that we had either discussed. I know we've discussed this off stream. I actually haven't really. I can't remember if we've actually discussed this on stream. But essentially, do you think this is where it starts like kind of tipping in that direction?
Yeah, like we've talked about this briefly before, but my take on this. I have nothing against the new VTubers. I want to start off by saying that. I think the new counts are fine. Crony all the way. But
okay.
I think the rat bastard's going to be the best one.
Yeah, you would say that.
The rat.
But I feel like it was too soon.
Too soon, you think?
I feel like it was too soon to add more. I also feel like they could have maybe spent the time and resources on enhancing the other departments that are already established. Like I know I mentioned before, like Hollow Stars, they desperately need better advertisement and more care. Like they desperately need help over there. I mean, they're all doing fine. They're all doing okay. You know what I mean? Especially compared to like other streamers, but
Yeah.
compared to like their coworkers, they're basically bottom of the follower pool.
Yeah, right.
And which sucks because they're all really talented dudes. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like they deserve the look that they can get. They deserve like help. And I also think like more help should have been sent, like 3D models for EN that was already there, or 3D models for ID. Stuff like that. I feel like the time and resources could have been spent somewhere else to maybe enhance some of the projects that are already happening. But
I feel like ID's getting the shit end of the stick.
Oh, you think?
I just feel like they're gonna be like the first ones to disappear.
maybe if EOFI wasn't so bad at freaking Mario Kart.
No. Listen, they all did their best, so that's all that matters. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, to bounce off like Travis's, yeah. How do I put it? In a way, it almost feels like the later gens of ID, mainly just 2, but like 2 and maybe probably 3 at this point. It feels like they're almost an interesting extension of Hollow EN, because every time I see them, it's not that I don't see their streams and when they're speaking just Indonesian in general, but I just feel like for the most part, a lot of the clips and a lot of what people have seen of them have most likely been English and maybe some Japanese here and there.
Yeah, like Rene.
Yeah, Rene. I mean, Ollie's in there too.
Yeah, I'm saying like Anya, as far as like the Anya with the they collab with like JP a lot, but Ollie like J collabs with EN seems like a lot, and other ID members. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like Ollie, so I follow her regularly. So I just watch her regular streams that aren't collabs, but
yeah. So I mean, so I can understand what Travis is saying. It kind of feels like I don't think they're going anywhere though, because I think with the explosion of how HoloLive has been, it's just kind of like I think ID and Hollow Stars by extension, I think will also grow to be more popular as time goes on. For the time being, and EN2 has like a weird amount of pressure. I feel like right surrounding them because to me it feels like HoloLive, the Hollow Myth, like Gen 1, right, is like this weird unicorn, right, of talents, right? Because like it's kind of like they had to kind of frontier an entire, like they had the kind of frontier being VTubers for a primarily English speaking audience.
Right.
Everyone
you
outside
could say the
Japan.
same thing about Indonesia though, because their main focus was Indonesia. They just happened to speak English.
Yeah, right, and that's the thing, right? And so, but I mean, the Gen 1 was kind of like, I don't know. I feel like Gen 1 was kind of for the time being up until until like that aforementioned explosion. It was kind of like people didn't really know about them too much, maybe. Yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, I think Risu's channel blew up when that whole No Nut November thing was happening last year, right? And Muna became like a thing after, a lot of the clips people had seen with like her and Pekara and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. She blew up.
Yeah, and Eofi is typically known for like the art. Like she's really good at. She's basically like HoloLive's. She's ID's Ina, more or less.
Yeah, she's super talented, but she gets like no love.
Doesn't she frequently take breaks?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think she took one recently because she had like COVID-like symptoms. I think.
I was gonna say, I feel like she's taken a couple breaks, and that's hurt her.
I mean, she may have. I don't follow her enough to really know.
I don't follow any of the fucking Indonesia people except for Ollie and Muna.
Yeah, I think
she comes back to there being too many fucking VTubers though.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So like, kind of going back, like Hollow Myth is Gen 1 was kind of like this crazy unicorn, right? And so it's like they had to like pioneer like a lot of things here and there, and like the amount of pressure that was on them, because this was like around the time when they kind of showed up right as the popularity for just VTubers in general was starting to kind of boil over, and then Gen 1 came around, and then it just skyrocketed to the fucking stratosphere, yeah.
Right.
And so I think Gen 2 is gonna have. I think Gen 2 is like they're getting. I think they have the benefit of getting a lot of help, and that's good for them. It's cool that they'll have Gen 1 and other preceding generations to help them out if they need be.
Right.
But in a way, it's like an interesting. Like, oh wow, I wonder if any of them feel like that pressure of maybe having to feel like they have to try to fill some of the shoes that EN1 kind of set.
Dude, I feel bad for them because like they got not necessarily shoes to fill because like Hollow Myth is still there, but they have like in a lack of better terms, they have huge shoes to fill.
But that also makes me wonder why they even bothered to make a second one, because it's not like
money.
It's not like they're even fucking
money
losing momentum.
No, it's money.
Yeah, but
I mean, at the end of the day, it is like a.
I feel like if you give the 3D models to the English gen, to the fucking like Ina and stuff now, they would have made more money than putting out new VTubers that they have to fund and get a baseline for. I feel like they could have
not necessarily, because if you think about it, like the 3D models, they might bring in, let's say, 100 to 200,000 extra subscribers per channel, as opposed to the brand new girls potentially getting 1 million subscribers to 5 new channels.
Yeah, but if you give but then if you put EN into the concerts, then you're selling more concert tickets and
right, which I agree. I agree with all that. But right now they're looking at subscriptions, and they're looking at potentially 5 million more subscriptions. You know what I mean? So that's ad revenue and all kinds of stuff like that that's going to be pouring in from 5 new VTubers, as opposed to doing something that we would like to see, these concerts and stuff like that. Everybody wants to see stuff like that, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, Clover is a business.
Clover, you mean cover?
Cover, thank you.
Clover Corp at it again, baby.
Yeah, Clover, damn it!
I thought it was Clover for the longest time, so it's
yeah, it's Clover, Black Clover Corp.
Yeah, fuck them. Unfortunately, at the end,
Black Clover. I'm tired of seeing Tim the Tatman talk about Black Clover too.
Well, before we get to that, I mean, I don't know. I think, and to preface what we're all saying, it's not like we're trying to like shit on any of the towns. I mean, the new ones are fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I've enjoyed watching all of them, or at least as much as I can anyway, because it is a lot of time. But I'm a tinfoil hat. I don't even know if this is like a thing you can get away with saying. I don't know. But here's the thing, right? So in a sense, to counterpoint oversaturation to some degree, I would imagine that maybe what Cover or just any VTubing scouting agency or agents may do, right, is that they'll look at talents that were previously VTubers on their own, like just indie VTubers,
right,
and they'll just pick them up and eventually turn them into talent. So essentially, in not for all of them, but for some, in some ways, they're not adding like fresh new faces. It's possible they could be adding previous talents to the pool. Mm-hmm. And just kind of extending it that way. So that kind of caps oversaturation to a degree. But then you hear something like, oh, well, Sony's taking like 50, making like 50 VTuber debuts, and you're like, I'm not so sure about that now.
Yeah.
So, and
they need to not.
Yeah. It's, I almost find it like impressive that people, like a lot of people that are able, I feel like a lot of people are just like donating like a metric fuck ton of stuff to, the VTubers, and that's cool. It's cool as shit, and that's awesome to see. Right. It's just like, man, dude, it's like, damn, how many new people can you attract, and then how many people may simp for more than one? right? I'm just like, damn, how are you not breaking your wallet? Like
Yeah.
that's super impressive.
I don't know
I
how they
get-
get all the money that they do.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I think it's very interesting. I'm very curious to see where everything goes from here. Like fucking Hollow Stars would benefit, I think, a lot more. I think they're starting to get a little bit more exposure now because I see that some like Callie, for instance, has been like collaborating with some Hollow Stars. So
Yeah,
like
and
other talents as
Ollie-
well. I can't think of it at the top of my head.
And Ollie, Ollie helped bring
and Astle,
a little bit. Ollie
Mhm.
definitely helped Hollow Stars a little bit,
Yeah.
which is funny because they've been established a lot longer than Ollie.
Yeah, right. Well,
You
it
know
was
what I
like, well, I think her connection with like Astle is like based off of just wanting to play Apex.
Yeah,
Because
So my thinking for the whole Hollow Stars thing is the people associate VTubers with anime, and you don't hear fucking very many people simping for dudes in animes.
yeah, I mean it's
It's unfortunate, but that's just how my mind thinks of it.
well, yeah, I mean it's not much.
and I
there's not
don't
as
think
much
that's
man
too
service.
far off.
No, yeah, there's not as much man service, but I mean it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? I think it's just I don't know. Maybe I just feel like it's not marketed enough.
No.
But I feel like the pull is there. I feel like there's a lot of dirty Fujos out there just waiting to simp. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
I also look at it this way: like, people are going to watch girl VTubers because it's different, but like,
Yeah.
there's so many already established male streamers that aren't even like VTubers that it's like somebody's not going to go out of their way to watch some weird Hollow Star that they've never heard of when they can go watch Nick Merckx and Tim the Tapman play Apex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the
YouTube's
thing.
such an abyss to finding new talents, dude.
Well, and also there's a language barrier.
There's language barrier, yeah, and the YouTube algorithm's kind of like
It's
crazy.
not even the algorithm. It's so hard to find people. Like, it's so hard to find new streamers.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's a combination of both. There's so many, and the algorithm is kind of like not feeding it to the right sources.
Well, they're only
as
feeding
well.
you clips. They're not feeding you people live streaming. The only reason you
Right.
see that people are live streaming is because you happen to follow them. You don't go onto YouTube and they're just like, here's somebody streaming right now.
Yeah, that's very true. But I think that also goes to like eventually. I think how it starts is when you watch clips, right? You just see it. You just see one, right? You just see one. It's like a breadcrumb, right? And then you just pick it up and you're like, oh, piece of bread. And then you were just like, eventually you see more. And then you're just like, oh wow, look at all this bread I'm getting. And then eventually you just run into a bread store filled with all these different clips, and then eventually it leads you to the actual person itself. I think it's very
Shout out.
hard. Huh?
Shout out Mancini's Bakery.
Shout out Mancini's bread. people don't understand how good Mancini's bread is. Anyways, but that's the idea, right? So, like, to your point, it's very hard to just go on YouTube and on your homepage you're gonna see somebody streaming like some so like a Hollow Star VTuber streaming that you've never heard of before, and you're like, oh, that's cool, I'll give it a peep, right? Versus like, I feel like you'll start out by seeing clips first, and then eventually it'll lead you to that source, right?
Yeah.
And then
But I like I said, I think the language barrier is probably the biggest issue with Hollow Stars, and that's nothing against them. You know what I mean? They're just streaming in their native language. I just think it's a little bit more difficult for people to want to get into watching some random guy play Apex, especially when they don't understand what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it also depends on the open-mindedness of the person to watch the stream.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have to already be subjected to that language. You know what I mean? I feel you would already have to be subjected to that language, not on a semi-regular basis, in order to even decide, like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to try to give this a shot. Travis, what are you doing?
I'm watching him do that.
It crashed again, so I just put it back in like I normally did.
Yeah.
And then it resized the entire fucking thing.
That's right. Travis can't maintain his final form forever.
Too much power in this small body.
he's just like it's like that. And it's just like, I just transformed. I'm not used to it yet.
Too much power. His body can't handle it. Run.
yeah,
It
eventually
wasn't
they'll
my
down.
fault. I was just putting it back up.
Yeah, so it's. I think. I think to a degree, but it's like there's, I think that is beginning to slowly dissipate. It'll take some time, right? But because people check out, streamers like, Olga, Roberu, The Winning Sun, Astel, and like they won't understand entirely what he says. In the same way that I'm pretty sure maybe a lot of people watch, Corone streams or Pekora streams, Muna streams, etc., not understanding, or maybe Japanese people will go and see, Ame streams, Gura streams, Kali streams, maybe not fully understanding.
Right.
Right, but they'll watch them anyway because the energy they bring is kind of enough for them to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, I think I've been seeing, I don't know if it's like super recent, but I feel like a lot of people are starting to translate, which by the way, they're godsends, but like they're starting to like translate what they're saying on the fly.
Yeah.
So you can kind of sort of get the context of a current situation.
Well, I mean, also shout out to Cover for that horror series that they're dropping.
The HoloLive, was it HoloLive Error?
Error, yeah. Where they implemented English subs like right away. They were like, we understand our fan base isn't just Japanese, so we're gonna put English subs into these as they come out, which I thought was awesome. I was like, that's dope.
Yeah, so I think they've been doing that for a lot of their videos.
Yeah, along with what's that new HoloLive thing? What's that whole thing called?
Alternative?
Yeah, I think that's gonna have. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's, but like you said, yeah, they've been doing it with like a lot of the HoloLive alt stuff.
Mm-hmm. They've been doing it with their short clips too. If you've been catching those,
yep.
Yeah, so I've been noticing it.
I think doesn't that all encompass Holo alt though?
I'm not entirely. I don't know if it is.
I know
or
that
not.
the anime's not covers translated. I think that's still being done by outside people, like the Clippers.
Anime?
Yeah, the HoloLive anime, like the 33-minute clips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so I don't think that's done by the company. I think that's done by Clippers still.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah. But that I think that was all around before alt was though.
Right. Yeah. So, and that goes all the way back to HoloLive just continuing to just grow.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows if the expansion will stop anytime soon. But as much as oversaturated as we think it is, not like it's a knock on. Of course, we're not saying it's a knock on the talents themselves. It's it's cool that they're showing up, and I hope.
Yeah, no, like I said, I like the talents. Crony's awesome.
Yeah, Crony. Crony's sick.
Crony's sick.
Just Crony. That's it. But I mean, they're all.
I just like the lore between Crony and Ame. That's all.
Ame stole the
time clock from Crony.
Yeah, Crony's coming back for it. Yeah. So, anyway, that's kind of just what I wanted to more or less just going to talk about, like how oversaturation was at this point in time. Now that it's been, and I mean, shit, dude, fucking the 1 year anniversary for Gen 1's coming up, like Gen 1.
Very soon.
How insane is that, right? Like it feels like it's been longer.
It's pretty wild. I'm curious to see what Kiara sets up for that.
That is maybe they'll hold like how they did like the Minecraft festival thing, the summer festival they did for maybe
because I know that's what one of the things that they've been working on is trying to get JP over to the English server for a festival like that. I don't know if they're going to do it for the 1 year, but
what is that portal thing that I keep seeing?
Portal thing?
Yeah,
they're building like a portal.
Yeah, they're building like a portal, like an EN portal. The EN.
Yeah.
I keep seeing clips about the EN portal. I don't know what it's for.
I'm not quite sure either, to be honest. I haven't watched enough Minecraft streams lately to really know.
I mean, it is tough to keep up with all of them. Like, especially if you're following more than like two.
Yeah.
you literally would have to spend a whole ass day.
I mostly watch like the Minecraft collab streams. I typically won't watch like this singular one because they're just working on like a project by themselves, and it's like it's fun for a little bit, but then it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, well, I don't really give a shit about Minecraft right now. So
I never get into the EN Minecraft streams because I just don't feel like they're as enjoyable and chaotic as the fucking Japanese ones.
Well, that's why I watch like the collab ones because there's always something stupid happening.
all the time.
Yeah.
But if it's just like Gora building like a house, I'm like, I'll watch this for about an hour and then I'm good.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of, if not all of them, know that not everyone can stick around for the whole thing. I think that's why they always encourage people to, if they can, watch the archives whenever, because depending on how long they stream, I mean, some people just may not have that time.
Oh yeah, and they're 3 to 4 hours long too, so it's not like they don't expect people to stick around the whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of like a revolving door, right? You
Yeah.
see people just swinging in and out and saying hello, simping,
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I'm waiting for you two to go audition for any VTuber company out there. So, looking at you, Niji Sanji, go pick him up. Especially Travis, look at him. He's marketable.
Yeah, Travis is the only marketable one here. I have no talent.
You say that, but you've been sitting on that train for like a very long time. So,
Yeah.
I think you have.
He made
the
a
knack.
train his home, so
That's right.
Yeah, you are the Mugen train now.
That's what I call being homeless.
Yeah, that is a problem that needs solved everywhere. Fuck, man.
Oh man.
Okay.
I will say one
Yeah.
thing that is nice about doing this VTuber thing is I can do this entire podcast today in my underwear, and
Isn't it great?
that's amazing.
I don't know. I haven't shaved my
Well-
head in over a week, and I'm sitting here.
Yeah, but now you can pretend that you have hair.
Yeah, we've been
No.
back and forth.
Well, Travis is
Yeah.
on an 11-day vacation, so he's gonna have a wraparound by day 10.
Oh my
I'm shaving it today, actually. Thank you.
No, don't shave it now that you
No,
said
fuck
that.
you, dude. I'm gonna shave it.
No, don't shave it. Come on, what are you doing, man? Yeah, so all right. Switching out topics. Cowboy Bebop live adaptation, baby. Have any of you seen some of those screenshots?
I haven't even watched the anime.
No, I'm playing.
Okay.
JK. I thought the
Well-
screenshots looked pretty good.
Yeah, no, they look fucking
And
shitty. I hate it.
I hated admitting that too.
I hate that. Every time when I see the live action anything, I am just like, no.
What's his
I don't-
name looks so good as Spike though. Like I was not expecting that. I was like, damn, that actually fits.
I was actually vibing with that hairstyle a little more than Spike's.
Yeah, but yeah, I was like, yo, that's actually good.
Yeah, I'm hoping that. Okay, so
Dude works as Jet Black too. I mean, it's just everything fits.
okay, they got everything. I mean, I know a lot of people.
Oh, Faye's not as sexualized as the anime.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say that.
Where's my sexy Faye? I think she looks fine.
If they would have sexualized her, though, then the fucking whitewashing would have commenced, and everybody would have been like, you're over sexualizing a woman.
Yeah, right. Yeah, people would have complained either way. So, but I haven't really seen anybody complain about it. I've seen articles saying people are complaining she's not sexy enough, but I haven't actually seen anybody complaining that she's not sexy enough.
Dude, I have not seen anybody bitch. Period.
I know.
Like-
I think those articles are just like people wanting there to be a problem. Like the one
That's
that
what it feels like, right? Like
yeah.
it just feels like, oh well, that's just the point.
like
of
they
almost
were
every article.
like they were like anticipating there to be an issue whenever those screenshots came out, and there was none. So they're like, well, fuck it, I still have to put the article out because I already wrote it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's kind of like they like whoever wrote the articles, they just woke up, got out of bed, saw that there was a live action adaptation. They were like, these models look good, but they don't
Yeah.
look good to me, and I'm gonna make that everyone's problem.
Yeah, right.
So
No, I could be wrong. I'm sure
Oh, there's
there
people
are some
probably.
neckbeards out there that are complaining she's not sexy enough.
Yeah, pretty
But
sure. you have some
I think
actual
that's a
TV
small
series.
minority. I don't think anybody actually gives a shit.
I give a shit.
Honestly, I besides Travis,
Of
I
course
haven't
you
seen
do,
anyone complain.
I hate women.
Even though Travis is one. So
That's
Yeah.
just a joke.
I know. For legal reasons, that's a joke. So the thing about it is when I saw it initially, I was like, out of most of the adaptations that this is a Hollywood one, yeah, or is this like it's a Hollywood one, right?
It's, I mean, Hollywood actors.
Yeah. So I think if I'm gonna put this in the category of Hollywood records, right? For Hollywood's track record of adapting anime right into live action, this is probably one of the better ones.
As far as screenshots go.
As far as screenshot, yeah, of course they haven't shown anything yet. They could totally, they still have a lot of time to completely ruin it. But
hashtag where's Ed?
Hashtag where's Ed? Where's Ein? I don't see either of them. It doesn't.
No, Ein was in there.
Was Ein in there? Oh yeah, Ein was in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Faye was walking Ein, which was like, where's
it
Ed?
Might be okay after all. But yeah, also where's Ed? I don't know. Maybe
why isn't Ed the one walking Ein?
Why isn't Ed the one being a dog?
Also that.
I mean, it's also very tough because Ed is definitely tough to portray.
Ed is a very hard character. I
hard
character to even cast for.
It's because like Ed is kind of. I feel like Ed's more or less more androgynous, right?
Yeah,
like,
very androgynous. I mean, it is a girl, but who do you cast for Ed?
That's a good question.
They don't even know if they're putting him in the show or not yet.
Oh no, I think they have to.
Travis calls it a he, even though it's not.
I said it. I said it because I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl because I've never watched Cowboy Bebop. So
no, it's a girl. She was like, well, she a daughter of some rich dude, and she just like ran away or something. I can't remember.
It's been a long time since I've seen Bebop.
Yeah, it's something along those lines, but yeah.
Yeah, so it was when I'd seen the screenshots, and then I was like, all right, so maybe they have a chance to make a good adaptation after all. The problem is like my only issue is with something as very sci-fi as how Bebop is. It's like, damn, how are you gonna get like the scenes when they're on the spaceship and shit?
Oh, dude, that'd be so easy.
You think?
Dude, have you ever watched Altered Carbon? It's like the perfect atmosphere for.
That's true. No, that's true.
Yeah, for like Cowboy Bebop, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I would agree.
I think there's plenty they can do with the sci-fi atmosphere. There's like Altered Carbon was really good, at least the first season. No hate against Anthony Mackie. He's just a garbage character in second season.
Apparently, the second season of the Altered Carbon was trash. So
yeah, it was so bad, but because it was just such a different feel. Like I said, no hate against Anthony Mackie. He's a great actor, but he just did not play the role the right way. I don't know. What was the other one? The Expanse. That was good. Good sci-fi experience if you're into sci-fi.
Yeah, that's a show I've been wanting to get into. I've been having a couple people tell me I should check it out.
I liked it a lot.
What's it, like 5 seasons? How many seasons? Like 5 seasons deep?
5 or 6, yeah. Which I haven't watched the newest season, but I watched three or 4 seasons in like a weekend. Because it was like once I started watching it, I was like, oh damn, I can't stop. But back to the main point, I feel like they can pull off a good sci-fi environment. I don't think that's going to be really an issue.
Yeah,
just whether or not they can portray a good story in that setting.
Well, yeah, the story of Bebop is more. How do I put it?
It's very loosey goosey.
Yeah. God damn it, Travis! But
wait, what would Travis do?
Travis showed off his phone screen to everybody.
The fucking app froze on my phone.
Oh.
Travis fights the curse.
I think it's just overheating at this point.
It's definitely thermal throttling for sure.
You could probably use it as like a what is that?
Gonna go make some eggs real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say like what it's like those portable like stoves. Basically,
this shit's burning.
Yeah, but I think they have a good chance to make it a decent adaptation. And you're right, it is kind of loose because it's more episodic up to a point. Because it's like near the end, it's really when it starts or not near the end, but like at some point,
like the halfway point, kind of.
Yeah,
like it's very episodic in the beginning, where it's like doing character introductions, basically. You know what I mean? Like jumping around from Spike to Faye to Ed, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then
so I think it's. I have faith that it's going to be good, only because of those screenshots looked good. I mean, it really did restore my faith in it, because I was like, I just don't think it's going to be good. The casting seems kind of weird, and then I saw the cast in their getup, and I was like,
this was good, yeah. He was like, you know what? I'm very interested now.
Yeah. I
think if this goes well, right? Because I think anime adaptations overall have like in the live action anyway, have been doing better.
I mean,
I don't know. Have
I
you
don't
seen
know,
like
everybody
a?
thought that the Full Metal Alchemist looked good, and it ended up being trash too.
no,
Yeah,
I
but
liked it.
Yeah, like I thought it was okay.
I
You
thought
know
it was
what I mean?
good.
Yeah.
I saw
So-
a lot more people complain about it than liked it.
I don't know. That's because everybody just likes to hate on live adaptations.
I'm
Yeah,
still
but have
waiting
you-
for the next Death Note.
We'll never get that.
I know we
And
won't.
I mean, I did
But-
enjoy it a lot.
To be fair, I'm like the only human on Earth that enjoyed the Ghost in the Shell live action. So
I didn't mind it. It wasn't bad. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, I never, for me, it won't have. I would watch it purely for entertainment value, rather how much of an emotional impact it's going to have on me watching it, right? Because
well, that's the thing. You have to go into it realizing that it's an adaptation. It's
Yeah.
not a word-for-word remake. It's an adaptation of a different source material. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I
Yeah,
think if you
that's what
go
I'm
in with that mindset, you can just enjoy it for like the cinematic value of it.
yeah,
It wasn't deep. Not like Ghost in the Shell anime is. It wasn't as deep as that, but it was kind of like a Blade Runner ish movie, which I
Yeah.
enjoy Blade Runner. So
I mean, I love the Blade Runner movies, so
yeah,
I'm not complaining. Yeah, that's the thing, right? So I'm not expecting the adaptation of Ghost in the Shell to have a profound impact on me like the original movie did, right?
Yeah.
When I'd seen that, but it's like to me, it's that's why I try never to compare them as much as I can. I mean, I'll do it for the memes, sure. Like if I had to do it for the memes, I'll be like, yeah, this compared to this, utter garbage, no spider tank. But I think there was a spider. I think there was a spider tank.
There was, yeah.
So, but that's the main point. Like I think as a standalone, because usually that's what I'll say. It's like I'll watch it, and then if you compare it to the story,
standalone
I've seen
complex.
it. Yeah. What? Wait, no, shut up, shut up. But if you, I hate you, Nick. Travis, what are you doing, tough boy? Tough
I
girl.
just leaned forward and it moved. It's
So-
tracking me.
You leaning in for a kiss?
Oh, yeah, give the viewers a kiss. So,
Hey man, my jugs are making my back hurt. Leave me alone.
well, can't help you there. I couldn't relate. But, yeah, so as a standalone, most of the time you can be like, yeah, it's a good movie. It's just when you compare it to the original source, you're like, meh. And that's where I think that's where like a lot of people kind of don't have that cutoff. They'll
Right.
just kind of try to compare it all the time. It's like, and maybe one day you'll find there'll be one adaptation that really does like set that bar. It's like, damn, this is just as good, if not better than the original. Although I haven't seen that yet. I have at least I haven't. I don't know, but you got stuff like Alita Battle Angel. That was pretty good. I was like, that movie's fucking tight. And
I
that
actually
was
haven't watched that,
it's pretty good. I would say it's definitely worth watching.
but I never like dabbled in the source material either. So
Mhm. Yeah, then I mean, I'd still say you liked it either way, or you would maybe like it either way because
Yeah.
it's still pretty entertaining. Ghost in the Shell I thought was good as a standalone. Like, yeah, sure. Are there things that it had that I wish there could have been? Sure, but like, I'm not gonna be like, well, this movie's absolute pee pee poo poo dog shit. you know. And then moving on from there, if Cowboy Bebop does well, I think that can really help be like, oh, you know what? Maybe Hollywood doesn't have a completely shit fuck record
I
after
don't know,
all.
man, because they're gonna try to start adapting popular things, and then it's just gonna be another fucking Dragon Ball.
Oh no. I think you know what? I think people have learned their mistake with Dragon Ball because
Yeah,
No, because there's just certain things that you should just not fucking touch. And
Dragon Ball's one of them. I think. I
And,
think Dragon Ball's really hard to pull off.
There's always talks about fucking Naruto and One Piece, and I'm like, please don't. Please don't. You're never gonna do it justice. Just don't do it.
Well, the
Sleep-
thing with One Piece is like Oda's kind of really on the helm about it, so I'm very curious how much he's looking over the shoulders of people working on it, and they've been very secretive about it so far. I imagine we won't hear about it until One Piece ends in the next 10 decades. So,
I don't know, man. After that most recent chapter, I feel like it finally feels like it's ending.
we're getting there, but it's taking time.
I'm
Taking
10
so-
chapters in.
Oh yeah, that's right. You started reading One Piece.
Yeah, I did.
Dude, that is
Gross.
that's me giving you claps and me also faps. So
Faps.
faps,
I
faps and
salute you.
No. I mean, unfortunately, like I watched what I'm reading right now, so it's not super exciting because I already know. But
I think
once I get like 50 or 60 chapters in, I'll be good.
yeah, I mean, once you get to a certain point when it all becomes new, and plus, I would imagine maybe when was the last time you've actually sat down and watched One Piece? You know, so there's probably some stuff that's like,
Well,
oh,
he's 6 months into Naruto, so at least 6 months before that.
Yeah,
It's been well before 6 months. I would say a couple years since I watched up to the Arlong Park arc,
that's
or
but
maybe past that. Whenever Sanji joins.
that's like right before the Arlong Park arc.
Okay, so I watched up to a little bit past Arlong Park.
So I know it's only been 10 chapters, but what's the initial re-impression? I guess your second.
I think it's definitely so far. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy like the caricatures a lot better than they're displayed in the anime. Yeah, I think it's an enjoyable read. I can, I always vouch for One Piece, even though like I don't watch it or read it. But yeah, I can see why it's so good, so popular. So far, 10 chapters in, mind you. So
don't worry, it'll disappoint you.
this is an initial feeling of it. So,
before I continue on with it, I'm just gonna bounce back real quick. Cowboy Bebop film. Hoping it'll be good.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to end that topic right there.
I feel that.
The One Piece.
I'm hoping it's good too.
Yeah, it looks good, so I have hope for it. We'll see. Do you even know when it's coming out? Did they even say when it was coming out?
No,
they just revealed screenshots.
Yeah.
How's that?
Probably not anytime soon.
I would imagine that too. Yeah, it'll be a while. Anyway, so yeah, going into One Piece, right? Do you have any particular character so far that you've taken more interested in at this point? I know it's only like 10 chapters deep, but I'm pretty sure you met like an interesting cast already by then.
I mean, I always liked Zoro. How do you?
Zoro? They called you Zoro?
What is the right way to say his name?
So, okay, so I can't remember the full story off the top of my head, so I may have to do like a little bit more legwork here. But as far as I remember,
Zoro though, right?
It's the correct, yeah. So as far as I know, it's
definitely Zoro.
It's
yeah.
Zoro, right? But Viz, because of licensing issues, I think, or something with his name.
His name was based off of a real person.
Right. Yeah.
And due to licensing issues in localization, it got changed
to Zolo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've been using and they pretty much have been using it ever since. Okay. Right. So
it's because of the actual character Zoro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but I've always liked Zoro as a character. So.
Yeah. I think he's a very good character. I mean, I think the thing that's really good about One Piece, even early on, right, is you kind of get a like for me, like Luffy's like a really good character to fuck with because it's like
oh yeah, I mean
like the
Luffy,
vibe with because
you have to like him.
Yeah, right. But like I think what makes him a little bit different from your standard shonen pro tags, right, is that in his universe, right, what makes Luffy a cool character is that he pretty much acknowledges and understands that they're not necessarily the good guys.
Right.
Essentially, they're like, Luffy's more just like, all right, look, I just want to do what I want to do, and I'm going to get what I want, and no one's going to really keep me from doing that. And if you do, I'll just beat you up. But, yeah. But it's not like he's a bad person. It's just he understands how he understands how the world, his world understands how pirates are, right? Mm-hmm. And typically they're bad people, right? So he goes like, yeah, because sometimes he'll do that. Like later on, you'll see it's not really spoiling anything, but there's times where he's just like, oh yeah, I guess, like if they walk across like civilians and they're just like, oh no, it's a pirate, and like people will be like, we're not bad people, and Luffy's like, yeah, but I mean, I can see where they're coming from. We're not necessarily the good guys here, so we're just here to eat a lot of food, take treasure, and leave, but also help out when we can, because he's morally a good character still.
Right.
And I think that's why I vibe with his character a lot. He's already set in stone, but he's not like super white knighty, I guess, if that's like the best term about it.
He just does what he wants to do.
Yeah.
If he deems somebody worthy of saving, then he saves them.
Yeah, and he's a very like selfish character in general. But he knows this, right? It's not like he's doing it, and it's just people kind of eventually just wise up to it. And they're like, yeah, well, that's just how he is. We'll just deal.
Well, I mean, that like goes back to like him picking Zoro for his team. He's like, you can tell he's not a bad person right off the bat because he says, well, if he's a good guy, then I want him. Then he'll be a pirate with me. So it's like it's not like he's looking for bad people to be pirates with him.
Yeah,
he's looking for like morally good people, I suppose.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I think that's the good thing about how One Piece kind of sets its characters in place, and of course, like there's the mystery surrounding the One Piece, right? Which still don't fucking know anything about. Really, 1,000 some chapters
it's
in.
real.
Yeah, all he knows is it exists, and that's it.
It's a slab of bacon.
It's just an actual One Piece.
Bro, TikTok is oversaturated with people in their One Piece series now. I don't understand how I stumbled on it. I put "Don't show me this" all the fucking time. It keep coming up.
I think recently. I mean, I've said this on stream a while ago, but I want to say like One Piece's popularity is finally beginning to skyrocket. Not skyrocket, but I feel like it's going up a lot.
Well, it's
like
because everybody keeps seeing it compared to Demon Slayer, and you can only see so much Demon Slayer shit before you need something to move on to, and they're like, ooh, One Piece, let's see if it's actually good. Oh my god, One Piece is great. I can't believe I talked shit on it for so long.
It's like, it's like, to me, it's basically just, you can only see One Piece so much before you're like, all right, I should probably check it out. I should probably finally give this a run. It's still going after 20 years. Okay, I'll give it a shot. And I feel like a lot of people really do sometimes kick themselves in the ass for it. And they're like, damn, dude, what the fuck? I was missing out on this the whole time? All this? And I watched Naruto instead? So I'm kidding. Naruto's okay. It's an
caught
okay
up
show.
to One Piece in the Dressrosa arc and haven't looked back.
Yeah, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, for the people who've been following it since week 1, it's like, damn, dude, you fucking knew. You knew the future.
I have kids, and they're about to have kids, and we're still not even done.
They celebrate milestones around One Piece. Like, my grandkid was born.
My great-great-grandkid will see the end of One Piece. I'm gonna be dead before then.
So yeah, there's a lot to like, and then so I'm very interested to see where your One Piece journey will take you.
It'll
Because
take me.
Oh, it's taking you all right.
Take me.
But I mean, it's just because it's like it's we know this, right? We joke about it all the time. It's super long.
Yeah.
Right? It's definitely a trek.
It's not something I can't do though. I mean,
no, and you're reading it. It's not like you're sitting down to watch it. You can blitz it.
I'll never watch it.
I hate it. Never.
The pacing's too fucking bad to watch it.
It's not even that. There's just quite literally too many episodes.
Yeah,
it would take me like 6 years to finish, and that's just not going to happen.
So let me ask you this: would you ever entertain say you catch up in the next 5 years, right? You catch up in the next 5 years, and would you ever consider if you saw you're just like, oh, I wonder how this would look animated? You just maybe take a peek at it and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. Look cool animated. You know what I mean?
Oh, I have no problem watching movies or specials or anything like that, but I'll there's no chance. No chance I'll sit there and watch the whole series.
No. Yeah, not I'm not saying you wouldn't watch it, but say if it was a clip of of a moment.
Oh yeah. I do that now.
Yeah, right.
It's I don't know these characters, but this fight's cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or just maybe hit a cool moment, just in general. Doesn't even have to be a fight or anything.
Yeah,
so it's just a moment. You're I wonder how this would look animated, and you just go check it out.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So we'll check your progress every year or so.
No. I'm gonna try to read it regularly. Like I said, I've finished Vagabond, so now.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did read Vagabond. How was your? It's a reread, yeah. So
yeah, it's the third time.
Is it still enjoyable than how it was the previous two?
I think so. It's one of my favorite stories.
Do you think because like Vagabond is a very mature story in general? Do you think I don't know how like maybe I'm asking this wrong, but when was the first time you read Vagabond compared to like the last time you read it? Like, so you just read it. When was like the first time you read Vagabond, right?
Honestly, I think it was better this time around.
Right.
It for sure, because I was like fairly new into manga the first time I read Vagabond. So it was good to me, but I didn't really appreciate it. You know what I mean? I didn't appreciate the artwork. I didn't appreciate really the story as much. I also read the original book, like Musashi, the story of Musashi, like in between those two time periods of me reading it the first time to me reading it now. So I can appreciate it a little bit more now as I was reading it, and especially the artwork. I mean that manga is so well done, and like the fight scenes and the gore and everything is just so well done. You don't really see that a whole lot nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, don't get me wrong, there's like good fight scenes and stuff in manga nowadays, but like for me reading Vagabond, there's like not a bad drawn scene. There's like not a single chapter in that entire manga that I was like, "Ooh, who did this?" You know what I
mean? Why do you draw it this way?
Like every single chapter, every single volume is so well done, in my opinion, for that manga. Mm-hmm. That's why it'll always be one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, would you say it's like left? It's like one of those series that has left a very lasting impression on you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think it's like are there like out of curiosity, I guess. Is there any shows or series in general, right, that you've seen way back when, and then when you give it a rewatch, your impression of it was better or worse than the first time you've seen it, or the second time you've seen it, maybe? Is there any you can think of off the top of your head, perhaps?
Yeah, I guess Dot Hack. I think that's
you saw that. Didn't you watch it like recently? Or not super recently, but
it was like a couple months ago. Yeah, I did another lap on that. I think it was a lot better as an adult than watching it like back when it was airing on Adult Swim. I was like 14.
Yeah, right.
Dot Hack was too hard to get into for me.
Well, yeah, you're not like into like the slow pace. Because that shit's mad slow.
It's way too slow.
I
even tried to play those games when they came out, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Well, those games are like a different beast.
Yeah,
as opposed to even though I'm pretty sure everything had spawned from Dot Hack Sign.
Yeah, because Dot Hack Sign doesn't have a ton of action. It has like action scenes here and there, but it's a ton of talking.
It's more character driven.
It's very character driven. Yeah, it's a lot of like character development as opposed to world development. Like there's some world development, but you kind of get the gist of that through the characters and not necessarily through like exploration.
Yeah, so
I always thought about giving it another chance, and I'm just like, I'm finding trouble watching like things that I've already enjoyed, let alone fucking starting that.
It's super slow, I don't blame people for like not getting into it, because especially like if you have ADHD, you're definitely not gonna like it.
I'm shit out of luck, huh?
Yeah, because like you're gonna be 2 episodes in playing on your phone.
If that, like you might maybe just be like half an episode.
It is so slow.
It can be that way, but I think Dot Hack is definitely one of those more interesting. I guess you can call it an isekai essentially.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that more or less. Yeah, it's more character driven. So it's because you're exploring the minds of all these characters, like Mimiru, Bear, BT, Tsukasa, Subaru, the Crimson Knight guy, the other Crimson Knight guy.
Yeah, Crimson Knight Guy 1, Crimson Knight Guy 2.
Yeah, the one that serves Subaru and the one who's a Dragoon.
Yeah.
Or Crim. They call him Crim.
Crim. Yeah.
Crim de la Crim. So, yeah, and so it's more you just diving into the psyche of this person who can't log out of the game, and just kind of like all the interactions that they go through to make them just an overall better person because they're like super socially awkward. I think when it starts.
Oh yeah, and you want to talk about depressed?
Yeah.
I complained about Shinji being depressed.
Uh-huh.
This motherfucker.
Tsukasa's like
Tsukasa don't care, dude. He's like, well, can't log out.
Might as well just kill myself.
Spoiler alerts.
I'm just gonna hang with Maha over here.
But it's interesting to see like their psyche develop throughout the series, like as they realize that they can't log out and just trying to kind of figure out, like, remember who they even were outside of the game.
And yeah, because like the mystery behind it was like, well, why can't Tsukasa log out in the first place? And then as each episode goes and you find out the reasons for that happening, you're like, oh shit.
Yep.
You're like, that's actually pretty intense.
Yeah, right.
And then as you figure it out, you're like, oh no, this person doesn't want Tsukasa to leave. I'm trying not to spoil it, but then so and so it becomes like a tug of war for trying to like either get Tsukasa to not be super sad and do something kind of incredulous, like, I don't know, maybe I'll just fucking kill myself in the game or whatever, or just be alone forever, versus, trying to interact with people like Subaru and, Mimuru and all that.
Right.
But, then you got like other characters as well, like Sora, the assassin dude. Like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, outside of having arguably one of the cooler designs in the show, it's kind of like, because in the game of Dot Hack, right, they really, I guess they emphasize like player killing, right? So it's like basically the PvP structure of the game. You can just walk up to somebody and just ruin their day.
Right. Yeah.
Like almost Dark Souls style.
Right. Yeah. But you get labeled as like a PK at that.
Yeah,
point.
you get labeled as a PK. So it's essentially when that happens is like you basically become on your own island. Mm-hmm. And so, there's like people trying to like befriend him in some form because they're like, look, we get it, like. You probably want to have, friends, right? Because no one likes to be, no one likes to be alone. That shit's
speak for yourself.
Yeah, right. Not me, bro. Totally different. But yeah, so I think, when you have to dive into other characters' personalities like that, and it's kind of interesting seeing in a way that, like how they'll talk about just. Because they're regular ass people. Like there's nothing really special about most of them. Like I think Bear's like a teacher, I think, or some shit like that.
Bear's just like some like 40-year-old.
Yeah, yeah, right. And I'm just like,
who's just playing MMOs on his free time.
And I'm like, damn, I can relate.
Yeah.
Right, and so it's like it kind of really mimics. It doesn't really like put like a super spotlight on it, but I find it very cool because it adds to a little bit to the character depth.
It adds a little bit of relatability to the characters, because like at the end of the day, outside of Tsubasa, most of the characters that are being interacted with in the world are literally just people living their daily lives and then logging in to the game. What's the game's name again?
I think it's just called The World.
The World, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, logging into the world to just relieve some stress.
Yeah, I mean, just it's kind of like how people convey playing games as like a form of escapism in some ways.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could look into it like a super deep way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically what it is, right? More or less, is just it's like, why do you play the game? It's like you almost forget sometimes because the way that they have the characters interact so well until they mention is like, oh, you trying to do this, Bear, BT, me, and they're like, yeah, I would, but I was like, I made plans with friends to go shopping later on in the day, so I can't do that. I was like, oh yeah, right, they're not fantasy characters.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help you get this kid to stop being depressed. I have other shit to do outside of this game.
Or they're just like, I'm going for a legendary treasure in this game. I have no time to help this very sad person.
Yeah, just tell them to log out.
Yeah. Just tell them to log out or stay in their digital room.
Yeah, right.
So, but speaking of Shinji, I saw that new.
Travis dead.
I don't know what happened to him. Travis logged out of the game.
That was
He's
just
gone
acting
now.
up now because my phone's really hot.
Well, you can go back to real life if you want.
I was going to say, dude, it's like Log Horizon. You just log out and go to real life. It's forcing you to stay as the 2D lolly of your dreams.
Totally up to you.
gonna push through, boys.
Well, we have a little bit more to go. So yeah, I saw the new Evangelion movie.
I saw that you tweeted about that.
Yeah, so that's why I pushed that timer back to 2:30. Because I started watching, I was like, I think I can finish this beforehand, and then before 2, and I saw how long the movie was. I was like, never mind, no, I can't.
So we thought you were sexually harassing your socks.
Oh, I mean,
I
that
just
too.
thought you weren't gonna show up.
No, that's not true. When does that ever happen?
Quite often.
Maybe it does, but you know what? That's not the point here. Okay, it's the principle that matters. I showed up. That's all that matters. No, but I saw the movie, and it was a fucking roller coaster ride, dog.
Was it good?
How do I put it? And I'm like no memes. It is to me, because of my like connections with Evangelion in general. Like when I started watching it, and I've been like keeping up with it for a long time now. I thought for me it was a roller coaster ride of a movie, and I thought it was one of the nuttier films I think I've ever seen. Period. Like in both like live action or anime or just anything in general. Right, it's one of the nuttier films I think I've ever seen. But I was happy with the way it had concluded, and it's kind of like, to me, putting a chapter of my life to rest, right? Because
I guess that brings up the question, like, was it worth the wait?
For me, yes.
Okay.
I think for me, because it gave me an ending. It gave me an ending, right? Yeah, there was no cliffhanger, right? There was no any of that stuff. It was just a complete shut the book style kind of ending. It's like, all right, you can put the book away now.
There's no like googling what people think's gonna happen, what happened after.
Yeah, I think without spoiling anything at all, there is no room. I don't think there's any room really to bring a sequel at all. Like there's this definitely, like, Hideaki Anno definitely closed the book on Evangelion for good on that. And for me, it was like, I wouldn't say I got like super, super emotional, but it was kind of like one of those moments where you finish the movie and you're like, damn. You're just like that. For me, it was like, it's a memory that's going to stick with me for a very long time, because
It's the end of an era.
Yeah, it's literally quite literally the end of a franchise. So, and that, to me, it's like,
at least it got to go out on its own terms.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't know. The thing is, it's kind of hard for me to recommend it to anybody, though. Put it this way, like if you like Evangelion to begin with, or just like the idea of Evangelion, or can relate to its themes, right? Then I would say yes, it is definitely worth keeping up with. But if you haven't seen it and it's like not your cup of tea, I wouldn't sweat it. You know what I mean?
I love Evangelion, so I guess I need to watch it now.
It's an experience. I'm gonna tell you right now, like, it blew my mind for me, right? There was a lot of moments, I think, when I was watching that film where I was like, I think my jaw was like wide, like my mouth was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, there was times where I was just like, I just whispered, what the, as shit was happening, and I was like,
which is on par with Evangelion.
Right. But it's like
you weren't doing that during an Evangelion anything. So you were watching it.
Part of me wanted to rewatch the other 3 before this one.
I mean, it does give you like some sort of a recap.
I mean, I've already watched them. I wanted to rewatch them.
Well, no, so if you really want to watch it, Travis, right? Here's my.
And I'm going to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, so my thought process is this. I believe from what I've seen, you can get away with watching the final film only having seen the 3rd film to keep you sort of fresh, because it still takes place within that film, that timeline, right? So you can watch 1 and 2 if you want, if you just want to. I mean, that's up to you. But I think it would definitely help to watch the 3rd film, because it pretty much picks up right where it left off. Like, there's no time gap or anything. It's just literally right as it left off from 3. So, I mean, like I said, it does give you a recap of some sorts, but it's like one of those bare bones recaps. Mm-hmm. You'll just be like, oh yeah, all right, yeah, that did happen. I remember this. But if you want the more subtle stuff, then yeah, go for it. Just rewatch all three of them if you want. But personally, I would recommend watching the third film into the fourth. That'll give you a more fresh experience. I'm gonna tell you right now, though, the last hour, the last hour of that movie is something else. It was an experience. That's all I can say. It's definitely an experience. And if
I'll probably get around to it this week. I just haven't felt like watching it.
Well, you're off for 11 days, so you got time.
Right now, 8 now.
Fucking turd, dude.
Fucking turd, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's one of those things where, yeah, if you've been watching Evangelion, or if you've been keeping up with the reboots and all that stuff, and that's kind of your shtick, then yeah, definitely go see it and make what you will of the conclusion itself. But personally, for me, I was satisfied. I'm actually cool with never really going back to revisit them, if that makes any sense, right? Because there's like some series like you're just like, I'll keep all this within my memory now.
Evangelion never had really a whole lot of rewatch value to begin with, unless you were a fucking huge Hideki Anno fan.
That's true. Yeah, you could say that. I like the films. It's kind of like I can always reference them to be like, oh yeah, this part in this movie was this cool. This part in this movie was cool. And who knows? Maybe down the line, years down the line, I'll decide to watch all four of them whenever that fourth one ever comes out on Blu-ray or whatever. But I think I'm cool with not really going back to it for good, if not for a long time. So, maybe we'll discuss it again when you've seen it, Travis.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'll watch it this week.
Yeah, because
I'd be curious to see what you say about it.
Yeah, because we could have two different opinions, right? That's the good. That would be the good thing.
I mean, I liked Evangelion a lot, and I've only seen good things about it, even from like the newbie anime people. Yeah,
you'll see. It's definitely, and if I'm going to go strictly for animation, the more without having to dive into a story's themes, right? The thing, so it's animation, right? There is like some CG here and there, but it's really good. It's really good. Like the way that they use the camera angles in the movie, it makes it feel like you're actually watching a film, like a legit film, right? Because the way that they pan the camera around, I was like, dude, it might be me. I've never seen a camera angle move around like that in my life.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very interesting. I think it's very interesting from a lot of different perspectives, and I think a lot of people can get something out of that movie that they may enjoy. But overall, maybe it would be more impactful if you've seen, of course, all the films or you've been keeping up with this kind of stuff for a while. So yeah, my overall thoughts is it's very good.
So overall, 0 out of 10. Watch Brawly instead.
Yeah, it's like -1 out of 10. Go watch anything outside of Evangelion. And in fact, just don't even go watch it. I'm kidding. Go watch it. Go watch it. So,
Evangelion's such a good series.
It's a different series. I
didn't enjoy it.
It's different, yeah, because I think a lot of people go in watching it thinking it's going to be one thing.
It's
not
like everything else, though. It's so fucking obscure and weird.
I got it. We've talked about this before. Like I got it. You know what I mean? Like while I was watching it, I was like, I get it. I get it.
I get it.
I get it. I see why people do enjoy this. It is. I get it. But it's just, I don't know. It just didn't resonate with me or something. At some point, I could not wait for it to be over.
Yeah. No,
I was watching it.
Yeah, it can be that way, right? Because
but some of the themes were absolutely wild.
Yeah, I think
which those parts I enjoyed. I was like, that's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's like the more subtle themes for me. It's kind of like it's like how Dot Hack was in the way that it's different from a lot of its successors, like Log Horizon, Sword Art, Overlord, all that.
Yeah. Like Dot Hack, without Evangelion, there wouldn't be a lot. You know what I mean? It was a pioneer for a lot of different themes and genres.
Yeah,
and character development and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I got it. While I was watching it, I got it.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. I get it. This is good. It's good to somebody out there, and I get it why it's good. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, I think why I like it so much to even begin with is because it's very character driven. So it's like you think it's a show about mechs, more or less, and then you basically like, for the most part, there's mech stuff happening, and then it's kind of not the case because it's like the show is basically
Daddy,
more
love
or less.
me.
Yeah, well, it's more than just that, right? It's more than just, Daddy, please pay attention to me. I'm begging you. Literally, I'm right here. So it's more than just that, right? You got different characters like Misato and Kanji working out their shit. You got, Asuka like working out her fucking like weird issues, and you got Ray, who's like a whole fucking nutcase. Well, not a nutcase, but a whole different can of worms in that show on its own.
So you can't even call her a nutcase. It's not her fault.
Well, she's not even she's literally just a rock in human form because she doesn't really have much of a personality up until like certain points in the series. Although I will say that in this film, she's probably her most expressive. So, and it's actually kind of weird, but it's good. I mean, I'm not complaining. Yeah. So overall, I think it's worth. If you should go check it out, it's very interesting.
I will, just not right now.
10 years from now, we'll go check it out.
I've been wanting to rewatch Darker Than Black. I might do that soon.
Got to do with the mask?
Yeah, he's got a mask. Yeah.
All right. I mean, I know that's a very vague way to describe it. That's like
but he does have one. He does have one for sure.
Yeah, he does have a mask. That is true. Yeah.
I just thought of it because like the doll in that show, she's just like kind of a husk of a human.
Mm-hmm.
Human, but she's just kind of like a husk, no personality or anything. Ray always reminded me of that character.
Oh, really?
Should be the other way around because Ray's been around longer than that, but
yeah, well.
very very similar type of character.
Yeah. So I haven't seen Darker Than Black in like a while, so maybe that would be a show I lap around. I just remember it kind of having like some really depresso espresso undertones to it. Maybe I could be wrong though.
No, you're not. You're not. Yeah. And then I always enjoyed it though. I thought it was cool. Characters were fun. I literally name all of my cats in any video game after Mao from that.
Yeah, that's right.
The cat from that show.
Yeah. You name your Palco.
Yeah, Mao. Yeah.
From Monster Hunter. Yeah. Yes. Anyway. The last thing I want to bring up. Have you ever heard of a series called Dandadan?
I wish I could do a confused expression. No, I haven't.
Okay. So they announced recently that they have added Dandadan to Viz, right? And I'd seen it before, like in passing, and I was like, I never really read it. I was like, oh yeah, this artwork looks pretty cool. I'll check it out for sure.
How do you even spell that?
Dan.
Oh, Dan.
Yeah, Dandadan.
Dandadan.
Yeah, so Dandadan's essentially.
Oh, I like the artwork though.
It's very good.
Character designs are cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's essentially like, okay, so I'll try to summarize this. Essentially, it's about two characters. There's a girl whose family is connected with like a shaman, I guess, or like her grandma is like a shamaness, or like a sorcerer, a priestess or whatever, right? And they expel like evil spirits, and like she didn't believe in that shit because every time she would try to do the stuff her grandma was doing, like people would, like her peers would be like, "Ah, you're fucking weird, you weeb."
Fucking weeb.
Fucking dirty weeb. No one believes in ghosts, you idiot. And then on the opposite end, there's a boy in there who is.
It's like Loki a wife, though, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
like I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. She's like Loki a waifu.
I mean, she can also kick some ass. So yeah, she's like really tomboyish, but like anyway. So the boy in the show or the series doesn't believe in ghosts, but rather he believes in aliens. And so it's interesting because when they meet each other, they both don't believe. They both don't believe in the opposite, right? So like the boy doesn't believe in spirits, and the girl doesn't believe in aliens.
Interesting character dynamic.
Yes, and then eventually they run into situations in which they encounter both at one time.
They encounter Barack Obama in the first chapter.
They go, oh my god, you Jesus Christ, man.
God.
So they encounter. So there is one scene in there. The reason I got hooked because I think it was the first chapter. I read it, and it's this real. They go into a tunnel where stuff has happened. Right? I'm not going to spoil it that way, but they run into a spirit that is like, I will. She says, and I quote. This is almost verbatim. She says, "I will suck your dick if you." Or she goes, "I will let you suck my tits if you let me suck your dick."
I'll let you suckle my teats if you let me gobble your schlong.
Yes, and I'm like, excuse me?
Wait,
excuse me, man?
Wait. I've seen that screenshot.
I think I've sent it.
Yeah.
I think I've sent it, yeah, because I'm like, oh, this is different. and so, leaving that aside, that encounter eventually leads them to get abducted by aliens who refer to schlongs as bananas, and they're just like, we can't reproduce normally, and so we want to figure out how to do it, and we want to perform the act of reproducing, and so they're just like, all right, we're going to snip somebody's banana off, and then we're going to wear it, and then we're going to do the act of breeding or whatever. That's the alien's goal. And if I'm already losing you, I'm sorry, but that all happens in one shot.
Not the banana.
Not the banana.
I'm scrolling through right now, and I'm so confused.
So
I'm for sure going to read this. This is on Viz now?
Yeah, it's on Viz, like 23 chapters deep. So
Is this new or?
I want to say it's not. It's like it's
So
recent.
did it just get like re-picked up?
Yeah, I think they it's only like web only. So I don't think there's any physical copies of it or anything. But you can. Okay. Yeah, they just announced that you can read it like recently.
Okay, so it's ongoing then.
Yeah, at the moment it's ongoing, right?
Well, it launched April 6th on the Shonen Jump Plus website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they just brought it over. They
shipped the first volumes out August 4th, and then they brought it over to the app.
Mm-hmm. So all this is happening, right? A lot of things have happened, and eventually the boy gets possessed by the grandma ghost.
Turbo Granny,
right? So he gets possessed by the grandma ghost, and she eventually curses him, in which he loses his pee-pee. So eventually stuff happens later on down the line. The main mission becomes he now has to get his pee-pee and his 2 balls back. That is Dandadan in a nutshell. No pun intended. So it is one of the more crazy things I think I've ever read. And I know I'm not selling it well enough, but I promise.
All you gotta do is scroll through it.
Dude, it's entertaining.
Just Google that shit and you'll be sold. I mean, the artwork is really good.
Yeah, dude, the artwork is definitely... As soon as I read the artwork, or saw the artwork, I was like, damn, this looks pretty good. I was like, what the fuck? And then I got into the story, and I was like, this story is great, because it's absolutely absurd. And you know me, absurdity is up my alley. So, but it's interesting, because I like the parallels between the 2 characters. So it's and having them kind of work together in some way to get the job done is also very interesting. It allows for interesting character dynamics.
Right.
So yeah, so this is my shameless shout out to go read Dandadan. While you can't, because that shit is it's good. It's funny. It's also funny. Like, yeah, it's different. So, yeah, that's about it. I don't have anything else to bring to the table unless you guys do. I will let you say your piece now.
No, I'm good, man. This was fun.
Good.
Got to use the potty, so.
Yeah. Travis like, let me go. I need to go back to the real world.
I gotta use the little girl's room.
So,
help.
Bad Travis.
Send help.
Bad Travis.
Send help.
All right. I'm about to run this outro then. Nothing else. All right. Well, this has been another episode of 2D Trashcast, where we take pride in trashing your favorite best girl archetypes. My gamer tag was Exo Sundere for Life 69, and with me I had Truck Coon's 2 latest victims, Nick and Travis.
Yeah, thanks for coming around, guys. And what do I normally do? The Twitter.
Yeah. You'll remember eventually.
Remember to follow us on Twitter at 2D_Trashcast, and come over and have some chats with us. We also have a Discord, which should be in the links for the YouTube video and on our Twitch.
Travis, you have anything to say while you're still in that body?
He already ended the stream
I didn't.
I got
before we even. That's his ending.
It just
My
says
bad.
ND.
My bad, dude.
Nick's like, this is all new to me.
Thanks for putting up with.
Spicy, bro.
Thanks for putting up with our YouTube or VTuber experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Note
maybe
to
they'll come
self:
back.
the
and do it
phone
again.
app does not work as well as whatever the fuck Nick's using.
Oh,
Maybe
show you
maybe
the
you'll do it
way.
again. Maybe you'll do
Show
it
you the
again.
way.
I'll try next time we try it out. I'm definitely not using my phone because my phone's about to blow up.
That's what I'm saying, man. Your phone's about to be like a fucking Semtex grenade.
I had
All right.
86% battery when we started, and I'm down to 20.
Nice. Damn. All right. Well, with that, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.